What is going on, SoFi fans? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. There has been a lot of institutional updates I want to talk on. So I want to go over some of that as well, talk on the data points, what they are saying, and from here, where things might be going. Before I do, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's get right to it. So based on Friday, it did go down 2.47%, but it did have a lot of good momentum near the tail end of the day, which for Friday is pretty good. And as far as some big transactions, these are all the transactions that did occur on the secondary market for SoFi over $100,000. And of course, there is quite a lot, as you can see right here. So 43.9 million, but like I've said on previous videos, closer we get to the end of the quarter, you do see a lot more rebalancing occurring. There was also though 5.14 million, there was 4.14, 3.02, but still majority of these were very much biased, and you can tell that based on the bid, the ask versus the selling price. So once again, let me know you guys' thoughts on that. So like I said at the very beginning, a lot of institutional updates, one of which is this, second being some new ratings. So it does look like Trist Capital, Andrew Jeffrey, who has a 66% success rating, did give a $11 price target on SoFi. And of course, I think this is where it's pretty good. A lot of the good analyst rating ones, so a lot of the higher regarded analysts are all seeing a lot of good upside with SoFi. And then there was Compass Point, I'm not gonna say his name because I'm gonna butcher it, but 45% success rating and a $5 target, and they did give a sell rating. So it's kind of interesting in that regard. You kind of have opposite extremes in reality, but Compass Point, based on this, I think, and just their success ratings, it is fair to assume that SoFi is going to be trending up. At least there's a lot more optimism when it comes down to that. But more specifically, Cathie Wood, she is the woman of the hour. And finally, she did get into SoFi. I think this has been one of those things that's been lingering for a very, very long time. But she did buy in, as you can see, 283,000 shares, so pretty significant, and I think that will just add to obviously a lot more eyes looking at SoFi, a lot more liquidity. So this is definitely a very good thing for SoFi. And on a technical standpoint, I have been saying that it did need to pull back, which is unfortunate, but it did go up very fast. So it needed to pull back to around the 750 to 770 range, and coincidentally it did that exact same thing. So for instance, looking at some of the FIB levels, this is why going forward I think bigger things might be coming, because like I mentioned, it did bounce exactly off of this R2. So currently trading between this R2 and the R3. So 772 is the next big support, which coincidentally, like I mentioned already, it did bounce off of. And now the high, or at least the next big resistance point that you can really look forward to, is $8.71. So I do feel that SoFi is now free and clear, and especially going into next week with the whole news about Cathie Wood, is just going to cause this to go up. But keep in mind, I am not a financial advisor. You guys always do your own due diligence. When it comes down to some of the options activity based on Friday, there was a grand total of $8.93 million in call premiums versus $6.25 million in puts. So when it comes down to that, a little bit more evenly divided versus the last couple of days, but still very much oriented towards calls, meaning people are anticipating it to go up. Based on this chart right here, shows all the calls based on the strike price, expiry dates, and it does look like around 850 is anticipated over the next couple of days at least. And if you are looking at puts, it does look like coincidentally kind of matches that, around $8 is anticipated, or if not lower. But as I always say, options activity, this is just a segment, doesn't necessarily move the stock price. So let me know you guys' thoughts on SoFi and the recent analyst ratings. What do you think on Cathie Wood? Do you think that is fairly good? Because at the time of doing this video, there hasn't been really any new press releases or SEC filings, unfortunately. Well, there was that one, but I've already covered it in a previous video. So since my last update, there hasn't been anything. Let me know you guys' thoughts on that. And also, if you are looking for a lot of good compiled information such as this, that includes transcripts, earnings, everything in one, take a look at Seeking Alpha Premium. I do have a link to them in the description below and also the comments for a free 7-day trial. But over and above that, I'll give you guys a quick overview of what shorts did on Friday. So short score is currently 68, utilization is around 69%, and based on Friday, they did return 2.12 million shares. So pretty good in that regard. 11.62% of the free float is being shorted, so it is good to see it starting to go back down, because it was at one time around 25%. Of course, I think that was at near the lows, at least the first trough going down, but still 92.66 million shares overall are being shorted, and that does work out to be a grand total of $805 million in shorts that is out there. But like I said, based on everything with Stochastic, this whole pullback, especially what did happen intraday on Friday, was fairly good. It helped reset some of the technicals. So Stochastic is currently at 55, which, like I said, is a little bit more of the neutral zone right now, so I think that was fairly good. But despite that though, a number of retail investors have still been getting out, including on Friday. So very interesting stuff behind the scenes, but I do anticipate with it still staying in the higher percentile of the Bollinger Band and looking right here still well above a lot of the pivotal moving averages, I do feel that the bottom potentially is in, and that in reality it can start to trend up from here. But of course, like I already said, this is just my own interpretation on that. Let me know you guys' thoughts on all that in the comments below. If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, let's all make a lot of money on SoFi.